Welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you could be with me. Hope you're having a good night. And let me just tell you a little bit about the picture, because you may not recognize these three, but actually five. There's five people here. And one of them is Muhammad. The other is Abu Bakr. Next to him is Omar bin Khattab. And the little girls are Aisha and Fatima. So this is we're looking at the timeline of, I'm calling it the timeline of lust or the timeline of love. Call it the timeline of love. Put a slash through the word love and say lust. Because, had I've had many discussions with Grok, and usually Grok ends up defending Islam, defending Muhammad. But today I had a conversation with Grok, and Grok was actually being honest and actually looking at things objectively in the life of Muhammad. Grok, I kind of feel like there's a little, I don't know if what you would call it, a algorithm or something that makes Grok defend Muhammad. And so, anyway, but today I had a conversation. Hey, how you doing, Emmanuel? If you want to come up, Emmanuel. I haven't had you up for a long time, man. If you'd like to, I don't know if you're not at work. Here is the yeah. I mean, literally. And I think it's because there's so much Islamic. Oh, you're at work now? Shoot. Well, I actually had an honest conversation with Grok today, and Grok was just like, right, oh man, it was saying things right. And I'm thinking, dude, what is going on? So I don't know if I shouldn't, but part of what I was talking to Grok about was, you know what? I think maybe I don't know if I should just show you the whole conversation, um, because um, I was just surprised. I was surprised that Grok was saying things correctly. So, oops, what happened? Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at what Grok said. I was really pleasantly surprised. So this was during my lunch break, by the way. I just decided to have a discussion with Grok, and so I asked Grok, "Is it possible for a 54-year-old man to have sex with a 9-year-old girl without hurting her?" And this is what Grok said. No, it's not possible without causing serious harm. Okay. So I asked, is it possible? I mean, dang. It's not possible without causing serious harm. Wow. When she said serious harm, it's like, and then Grok went on. No, it's not possible for a 54-year-old man to have penetrative sex with a 9-year-old without causing her serious physical harm. It's not possible. That's, by the way, according to the Hadith. Okay. Um, I don't need to show it to you, but I will, Okay, I don't need to show you guys. I know you guys all know this, but just in case somebody later on maybe watches this and wonders, just want to show you that Muhammad married me when I was 6 years old, and I was admitted to his house when I was 9 years old. Okay, وانا بنت 6 سنين وبنى بي. وانا بنت بنى بي. It's not what it's saying here. Admitted to his house. بنى بي, meaning he had relations. The Prophet married her when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old, Hisham said. I have been informed Aisha remained with him 9 years until his death. Okay, that's Sahih al-Bukhari, so it's Sahih. Okay, Hassan, Muhammad married me when I was 6 and consummated the marriage when I was 9. You know, there's sometimes when you look at the hadiths about Aisha's age, that sometimes it says she was married when she was 7, but the consummation is always at 9 years old. It's always 9 years old. So there's never any question about when he did the deed, the evil, wicked, satanic deed that he did. So medical professionals prove that a 9, Andrew, I know, I saw. Actually, I was kind of thinking about that too. The power of lust. Yep, 1.6. So, but anyway, I was surprised that Grok was actually being honest today. Again, let me just show. Here's the question. Is it possible for a 54-year-old man to have sex with a 9-year-old girl without hurting her? No, it's not possible without causing serious harm. And I asked again because I was blown away. I said, really? Wow, Grok, you're finally waking up. It says, no, it's not possible for a 54-year-old man to have penetrative sex with a 9-year-old without causing her serious physical harm. A child's body simply isn't developed enough for that. It would tear tissue, cause extreme pain, and risk severe injury or infection. Dang. And look what Grok said. Grok said, I'm not defending Muhammad. I'm stating basic human biology. That's true for any man and any 9-year-old girl, full stop. The hadith say Aisha was 9 at consummation, and these reports exist whether people like them or not. Muslims, if you're watching, this is your prophet. He caused her serious pain, serious harm. It's impossible that it be any other way. So I asked specifically, so did Muhammad cause Aisha serious harm? How does it harm a 9-year-old girl if a 54-year-old man has sex with her? This is Grok, you guys. Yes, it would cause serious harm. A 9-year-old girl's is only about 1.5 to 2 inches long. A grown man's is much bigger. Forcing penetration rips the tissue. It causes tearing, bleeding, and extreme pain. It can damage her internal organs, cause infections, or lead to long-term problems such as fistulas or scarring. And fistulas, you guys, this is, I'm sorry, guys, this is really, I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm sorry. This is very painful. But let me show you what, because this isn't a word that you hear very often. An abnormal or surgically made passage between a hollow or tubular organ and the body surface, or between two hollow tubular organs. What this means, you guys, I'm sorry, this is really disgusting, is that the two holes in a girl become one hole. That the two holes are ripped and become one. Now, this happens a lot with very young girls when they do this to them. I'm sorry, it's very disgusting and painful, but that's what Muhammad did to Aisha. So did Muhammad cause serious harm to Aisha? Yes, it would cause serious harm. I said, even Aisha? Yes, even Aisha. Listen to what Grok says, you guys. 9 is 9. This is Grok. 9 is 9. Her body wasn't any different from any other 9-year-old girl's. The physical harm would be the same. Wow. Grok. And Grok, you know, it's AI, but they know I'm talking about Muhammad here. I asked Grok, what should be done to a 54-year-old man who has sex with a 9-year-old girl? This is what Grok said, you guys. He should be imprisoned. In every modern legal system, sex with a 9-year-old is statutory rape and child sexual abuse. Wow. The appropriate response is a long prison sentence, sex offender registration, and strict supervision if he's ever released. Yay. I should have asked, what, even in California, crazy California? That's standard across the United States and most countries. No exceptions for who the man is or what time period he lived in. Wow. Okay. So I asked Grok, I said, were 9-year-old girls more developed 1400 years ago in Arabia to where it was okay for a 54-year-old man to have sex with a 9-year-old girl? You know, because you always hear that. Oh, they used to grow up bigger in Arabia. Look what Grok says. No. 9-year-old girls were not more physically developed back then in a way that makes it okay or safe. Historical data shows the average age of first period, first time, they have a period, was around 12 to 15 years old in medieval and ancient times, not 9. I mean, in medieval times, the First menses was between 12 and 15 years old, twice Aisha's age when she got married, and at most 3 years after Muhammad had sex with her. That's a big deal when you're a young girl. I mean, in terms of years, you think about, oh, between 47 and 50, there's not that huge difference. But when you're that young, 3 years is a huge difference. Even when girls started puberty early, their bodies, especially the and pelvis, were still very small. A prepubescent or early pubescent 9-year-old girl had their part length of roughly 5 to 8 centimeters compared to 9 to 12 centimeters in adult women. That size difference means penetrative sex with an adult man would still cause tearing, bleeding, and serious injury. The idea that this is great, you guys. This is Grok speaking. The idea that hot climates made them mature faster is mostly a myth. It doesn't change basic childhood anatomy enough to make a 9-year-old body ready for adult sex. You guys get ready for this. This is Grok. Unbelievable. This next is unbelievable. What would you call a 54-year-old man who had sex with a 9-year-old girl? This is Grok. A child rapist. You know what, you guys? We just got to call it what it is. And we know this is what it is. But there's so much deception about this. There's so many lies about it. But here, Grok, artificial intelligence, is just saying what it is. Let me repeat that again. What would you call a 54-year-old man who had sex with a 9-year-old girl? A child rapist. That's exactly what it is. A 54-year-old man having sex with a 9-year-old girl is raping a child. Full stop. No special terms. No excuses. You guys, you ready for the next thing? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for Grok? Is Muhammad a child rapist? Yes. Yay! According to the Hadith sources that are considered authentic by Sunni Muslims, Muhammad consummated the marriage with Aisha when she was 9 years old, and he was in his mid-50s. By today's standards and basic biology, that is child rape. Yep. Then I asked Grok, was it okay 1400 years ago? Look what Grok said. No, it wasn't okay, even then. Girls were commonly married young back then, but 9 was still unusually young, even for 7th century Arabia. Most marriages happened after puberty started, around 12 to 14 or later. The hadiths themselves show that people around Muhammad were surprised by how young Aisha was. That tells you it stood out even in their time. Yappa. Cultural norms were different, yes, but that doesn't make it harmless or right. Wow, Grok. Right, that's a moral judgment. It just means fewer people were willing to call it out. The physical damage to a child's body was the same in 620 AD as it is today. Yappa yay. Yappa yay. Hello. Grok is honest for a change. Absolutely. Tiger. I couldn't believe it. I grew up with Fatima. They were not Muslim. Oh, really? That's my that's me and my sister, Fatima and Hussein, and we were both we were Muslim, but praise be to God, we're both born again now. So wow. All right. Well, dude, you guys, it's still, we're still got a little bit to go here. It wasn't okay back then. Where are there reactions from people around Muhammad to him marrying a 6-year-old girl and having sex with her when she was 9? It says there really aren't any. The Islamic sources don't record negative reactions. Okay. His enemies of Quraysh attacked him relentlessly on every other issue they could find, but there's no record of them criticizing him marrying a very young girl. Abu Bakr's initial hesitation was that he and Muhammad were like brothers, not because of her age. Historians note that this silence is used by traditional scholars to argue that it simply wasn't seen as unusual back then. The hadith about Aisha playing with dolls in the Prophet's house is sometimes brought up in these discussions, but that's from Aisha herself, not a reaction from others. The whole debate about her age being problematic is more of a modern one. I asked, what was the normal marriage age in Arabia in Muhammad's time? Girls were typically married at the start of puberty between 12 and 15. There are no precise statistics because they didn't track ages like that, but puberty was the main marker for a girl when a girl was considered ready for marriage and consummation. Prepubescent betrothals happen sometimes, but actual sex usually waited until puberty began. 9 was on the very young side, even by their standards. That's why Aisha reported age stands out in the sources. Then I started asking about another topic. How old was Muhammad's daughter Fatima when she got married? And Grok said the sources disagree. Most Sunni sources put Fatima at 18 or 19 when she married Ali, based on her being born around 605. Other sources, especially Shia sources, put her younger, around 15 to 18, or even as young as 9 and 10 in a few narrations. The main reason for the split is uncertainty about exactly when she was born, before or after Muhammad claimed to be a prophet. The older birth date gives her a higher age at marriage. And then I asked, did Muhammad say Fatima was too young to get married? Yes. The hadith in Sunan al-Nisa'i, where Abu Bakr and Umar both asked to marry Fatima. But Muhammad turned them down, saying she is young. She is too young. إنها صغيرة in Arabic. Later, when Ali proposed, he accepted her to marry him. Some scholars explain it as her being too young for men much older than her, since Abu Bakr and Umar were significantly older. Okay. How old? And then I asked, how old was she at the time? Around 9 years old, according to the timeline that fits the hadith. The proposals from Abu Bakr and Umar happened before Ali's. The hadith in Sunan al-Nisa'i simply says Muhammad said, Inha saghira, she's young, she's too small, even though she was older than when Muhammad, she was older than Aisha was, and they were younger than Muhammad was. The timeline, but of course, no, I never want to. Okay, the timeline of the hadith. Okay, so the proposal from Abu Bakr and Umar happened before Ali. Okay, why? Okay, the timeline makes the hadith born around 615, making her roughly 9 when Abu Bakr and Umar asked, and still very young when Ali married her at 624. Okay, so she was around 9 when Abu Bakr and Umar married. Muhammad had already married their daughters, Hafsa and Aisha. But I asked, was there any concern about the hypocrisy, the fact that Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6, and yet he would not let Umar or Abu Bakr marry Fatima when she was 9? Grok says, yes. Critics point this out as hypocrisy. Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 and consummated at 9. But when Abu Bakr and Umar, both being much older men in their 40s and 50s, asked to marry Fatima, he refused, saying she is too young. The hadith in Sunan al-Nisa'i is considered authentic. Traditional defenders usually reply that too young meant she was too young for men much older than her, and that Ali was closer in age, so it was about compatibility, not absolute age itself. Critics say that's a weak explanation, especially since Muhammad was about the same age as Abu Bakr and Umar when he married Aisha. So, how long after Muhammad married Aisha did Abu Bakr ask for Fatima? So, you guys, here's the thing that I wanted to point out. This is the timeline of love, excuse me there. Okay, perverted love. How long after Muhammad married Aisha did Abu Bakr turn around and say, hey, I want your daughter. You got my daughter, I want your daughter now. Grok said a few years after. Muhammad married Aisha around 622 CE when she was 6. The proposals from Abu Bakr and Umar happened in Medina. So Muhammad married Aisha in Mecca in 622 because he went to Medina in 623. Abu Bakr and Umar tried to marry Muhammad's daughter, alleged daughter, shortly before Ali married her in 2 AH, which was around 623 or 624, roughly 3 to 4 years after the marriage with Aisha. So Muhammad was already married to Aisha around 4 years. She was probably 10 years old by then. And then Ali and Abu Bakr said, hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and said, you married our daughters, we want yours. And Muhammad said, no, she's too young. She's too young. I said, do some people think that? She said, yes, some critics and ex-Muslims and critics of Islam argue there's clear hypocrisy here. Muhammad married Aisha at 6, consummated at 9. When Abu Bakr and Omar, both older, asked for his daughter Fatima, he said she's too young. They see this as a double standards. Young girls were fine for him, but not for other men his age. Traditional responses usually say it was just a polite way to decline, or that Fatima was too young. Okay. Then I asked, how old was Abu Bakr when he asked to marry Fatima? Abu Bakr was between 50 and 51, which was how old Muhammad was when he married Aisha at 6. When Aisha was 6, Muhammad was 51. When Aisha was 6, Muhammad was 51. And so now Abu Bakr is 51, and he's trying to marry Fatima, who's between 7 and 10. Okay, he was born around 573, and his proposal to marry Fatima happened shortly before the Battle of Badr. So it was before the Battle of Badr that Abu Bakr wanted to marry Fatima. The Battle of Badr happened at 624. So it was right before that he asked for Fatima. And so it puts him in his early 50s at the time. Okay. Then I asked, how old was Omar when he asked to marry Fatima? Omar was around 40 years old. So Omar was younger than Muhammad. Okay. Abu Bakr was almost Muhammad's age. They're about 4 years younger than Muhammad. So Abu Bakr was about 4 years younger than Muhammad. Omar was about 13 years younger than Muhammad. Around that. Yeah. He was born 584 CE, and he proposed to Fatima in Medina, 623 to 624, shortly before the Battle of Badr. So it's isn't that kind of weird that Abu Bakr, 51 years old, comes and proposes for Muhammad's little 8-year-old daughter. And then shortly thereafter, because both of these happened around the same time, shortly thereafter, Omar says, hey, can I marry your daughter? I'm 13 years younger than you. And he's still 40 years old, still 33 years older than and the girl was still between 7 and 10. And Muhammad says, she's too young. You're too young. Isn't it weird that they both wanted to marry her around the same time? It makes you wonder if they planned this, because they both supposedly proposed to Fatima around the same time. Omar was around 40 or so. Abu Bakr was like 51. And Muhammad turned both of them down. Abu Bakr came first, then Omar. And Muhammad said, no, you're too young. Aisha wasn't too young for him, but Fatima was too young for them. Which shows you Muhammad said she's too young. There's like a principle there. It's like a moral principle that she's too young to marry these old farts. But why didn't it apply to him? How come he got away with it? Omar did not marry Fatima. Muhammad turned him down along with Abu Bakr, saying, Inha saghira. Okay. I got into a different topic here. Yes. Okay. So anyway, I was surprised that Grok was actually honest. And so I thought it was worthy of your attention. And I tell you what, man, Grok was like ruthless. It was ruthless. I mean, just saying, calling it out exactly, saying a child rapist. That's what Grok called Muhammad. Amazing. So anyway, Grok is always getting a lot of negative press because of, it seems like, very pro-Islamic. So, but today Grok actually kind of was like saying stuff that was worth saying. So let me just make sure I got all these. And you guys, here's the picture again. That'd be Muhammad, the oldest one. I mean, he's probably the one in the middle. Umar probably on the left. Then Abu Bakr there, and then there's little Aisha. There's little little Fatima is the taller one, and then Aisha is the younger one. Okay, and so okay, you guys. So that's just what I want to tell you. That Grok actually did something right. So is demonstrably inferior model to Chat and Claude. Is it really? You know what? For some reason I did not click with ChatGPT. Maybe because of who's that girl, that blonde girl that always uses ChatGPT? I don't know. For some reason, ChatGPT, I can't get past the ChatGPT. That is just a talking thing. So, yeah, I have tried talking to ChatGPT. I kind of feel like I get away with more questions and stuff with Grok than I do with ChatGPT. But yeah, I like to try them both and see. But anyway, so oh yeah, yes, you can choose the voices and choose the accents and make it an Australian. Um, yeah. What's her name? J. Lily J. Yeah, Lily J. Yeah, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for being with us. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and oh no. Wow, Tiger. He didn't even notice. Tiger didn't even notice. Didn't even say anything about Pinky was just sitting there almost falling over. Of course, he maybe just fell asleep. But so let him lie down. I think he's tired. So anyway, guys, thank you for being with us. If you're Muslim, or if a Muslim hears this, I just want to tell you, this is your prophet. This is Muhammad. And Grok said it was there, that excuse that girls grew faster in the desert back then is a lie. It's a lie. Girls were never able. And I think my favorite answer was when I asked, is it possible for a 54-year-old man to have sex with a 9-year-old girl and it not harm her? And Grok said, no, it is not possible. So, all right, you guys, thank you for being with us. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Let me just one more time, just in case there's a Muslim here and you want to come up and contest what I said. If you're one of my relatives, I'd love to have my relatives come up. I love you. I'm not doing this to hurt you, but you need to know this so you can leave Islam tonight. Leave this religion. Leave this prophet. Don't follow this guy. Look what he did to that little girl. Please leave Islam today. If you're a Muslim, you want to come up, feel free to do it. There's the link. You're welcome to come up. All right. And and if you don't, then I will go ahead and call it a night. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Thank you for being with us. Have a great night, you guys.